And we have another solid chunk of Pokemon Sun and Moon news with Pokemon Refresh. So when I was watching through the trailer, I wasn't really paying much attention to it. I was like, Pokemon Amie, not really too much of a fan of that. Okay, your Pokemon's dirty and we get to go brush it up. There we go. I guess that's all that there is to it, right? And then now they eat something that is like a Pokepuff, but whatever. And then the Pokemon loves you. And also you get to blow dry them off. So I really wasn't too interested. However, it's actually a really awesome feature the deeper you get into it, because if you do pay attention to the trailer, there is something off about the Pokemon. Like, that's a weird looking instrument right there, and then there's like electricity and stuff coming off it. Also, that looks like poison markings. Wait a second. Pokemon Refresh actually heals your Pokemon after battle. What? So, use the Pokemon Refresh feature to care for your Pokemon. After battle, Pokemon sometimes end up all dirty. When that happens, you can take care of them, getting them all cleaned up. By caring for your Pokemon, you can also cure status conditions like poisoning and paralysis that were inflicted on your Pokemon in battle. So I'd also imagine burn. Since sleep goes away after the battle, that really doesn't matter too much. But yeah, that's pretty cool right there. I was just wondering, like, about the dirt and stuff. Like, okay, that just kind of set me off. I was like, you get to make your Pokemon pretty. Some people might like that. I'm not really too big into it. Also, Pokemon that have grown very affectionate will get all kinds of boosts and stuff, and if you feed them beloved Pokebeans. So, Pokebeans are the new Pokepuff, Poffin looking things, and then they will do things for you. Sometimes they'll avoid attacks from opposing Pokemon, and even hold out when they're on the verge of fainting. Take good care of your Pokemon with Pokemon Refresh, and they'll be great allies on your adventure. So I also have the Pokemon Amie page on Cerebi right here. This just kind of goes through a breakdown of what Pokemon Amie is for the people that haven't really done much with it, but this seems like it's engaging enough in Pokemon Sun and Moon to where some people might actually hop on over to the Pokemon Amie loving side, and pretty much you do things. You give your Pokemon affection, and then you feed them, I guess now they're called beans instead of Pokepuffs, and then you play with them, and then cool things happen. So as they get more hearts, there's more affection, and then you can get awesome battle effects. So I haven't seen much about mini games, but I guess there's going to be mini games and stuff with Pokemon Refresh. It just seems like full-on Amie, and they can't really get rid of the feature. We saw it make a return in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire because Sylveon is directly tied to it, and maybe there'll be more Pokemon that evolve through Amie, thus making it a bit more useful. But here we go, effects in battles. So text, the introduction message will give you some other statements, such as a critical hit raise. Critical hit ratio gets increased. Evasion, Pokemon's evasion just randomly increases as well. So the features range from superficial to largely beneficial to the trainer to allow for greater strategy in battle. Most of them occur randomly, with the rate increasing based on how much the Pokemon loves you and stuff. So paralysis has a chance of healing itself with paralysis, sleep, burn, confusion, poison. So pretty much it can will itself out of its love for you to do stuff. But then also we have survival. Pokemon has a chance of enduring a hit that would have knocked it out. EXP can boost EXP. And also, if your Pokemon's high affection, you can pet it after it defeats a Pokemon by rubbing it on the touchscreen, which I thought was pretty cool, that you can actually engage with the Pokemon during battle as things happen. So pretty much same thing with Pokemon Amie. They can will themselves into survival. And I actually really enjoy the promotional art for the Pokemon Amie. One, I'm Team Poplio all the way. So as you can see, oh man, we got a dusty, sick little Litten, and like Rowlet is kind of looking all sad and stuff and needs to be cleaned up. But Poplio, and no one liked Poplio, and then he was the first one to get a bath and look all like clean and happy. He's like, yeah, I'm feeling good right now. And then we can see, like, I just like, the Pokemon getting brushed off. It's like all happy, and it really captures the spirit of what's going on right here. Now, as for me, probably not going to use the feature too much. My Pokemon will probably be forever dirty. I might have to pick it up if there's like a status condition, because yeah, why buy full heals or burn heals or why spend my money when all I have to do is this thing? So I can cure poisoning, paralysis, and then if I have some spare beans, I might throw it up. But I think my Pokemon are gonna be dirty forever. There's actually a gallery for this. Is it all the same things? Oh yeah, so dirty, happy, yeah. So that's pretty much the breakdown of Pokemon Refresh. But some people in the comment section were yelling at me because I just completely ignored it. You can cure status. It's actually useful. Nice. Other than that, we do have some other Pokemon news coming out. So Pokemon to create games for the Nintendo's next system. That means Nintendo NX, because there was an interview with the Pokemon company's chief executive that kind of talked about various things. The last looking at the last years of performance, also thinking about the future and stuff, and that's when the NX was brought up. So as we can see right here, just speaking of interview with the company, an affiliate of Nintendo that handles licensing Pokemon characters responds to the worldwide social phenomenon generated by Pokemon Go. It's actually pretty crazy because the Pokemon Company seemed to not expect Pokemon Go to do as well as it did, and that does spark a lot more discussion as to what's going on. So with higher global awareness for the characters, fans and analysts have been watching whether Pokemon Company will roll out new games in Nintendo's NX system, and it is actually saying right here, the NX is trying to change the concept of what it means to be a home console device or a handheld device. We will make games for the NX. Pokemon something NX. I wonder how far they're going to take it as well, because Pokemon has intentionally been a handheld game for that spirit of adventure. You can go out, catch Pokemon anywhere as though you're having a real Pokemon adventure, and there have been many interviews with many members of the Pokemon Company that say this. Like, people from Game Freak say, we don't want it on a home console because we want the adventure to be mobile. However, we don't really know everything about the NX, but it seems perfect for the NX, that we can use the NX console to kind of augment what we have in the handhelds and then bring us that larger style Pokemon game. But also at the same time, we don't know what it means that, like, okay, they'll make games for the NX. Well, they made games for the Wii and Wii U. We had, like, Battle Revolution, we had, like, Pokemon Rumble, we had Pokemon Rumble U, and, like, we had all these other games. So Pokemon's going to be making games for the NX no matter what. I don't think this isn't something, like, absurdly greatest news announcement ever, but it is still substantial, and depending on how the NX goes, and with the confidence of this statement about how the Pokemon Company is actively going to work for the NX, it might mean we will get some, like, classic console games, or maybe a next generation of new Pokemon games at some point. So decline to say whether games will be available when the NX first goes on sale. Yeah, that's something that can happen right here. But here's one of the interesting things. Although Pokemon Go is free to download, players can pay for in-game items such as incense to attract animated creatures and stuff. It is estimated that the game has earned more than $700 million. That is absolutely nuts with how much Pokemon Go has made. So yeah, research company Amie has shown this. I feel like the reaction we saw was 10 times or even 100 times bigger than expected. So it actually is a little sad to, like, hear about this interview and stuff, and there's, like, other bullet points and stuff about the interview. So we have some of those, like, bullet points right here. The Pokemon Company's net profit was just 619 million yen during the fiscal year that ends in February. Now, that sounds like a huge number, because 619 million, well, that's yen. That's only $6 million US profit for the Pokemon Company. That doesn't sound like a lot. Now, to be fair, there wasn't a new game that came out, and also I guess that, like, the development for Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon and the other games does kind of apply to that. But when you think about it, there should have been a decent amount of profit coming off of, like, Pokemon Shuffle and stuff, because I think when that went to mobile, a lot of people were talking about it. But Pokemon Go has been the big one, so we're going to see a nice spike with Pokemon Sun and Moon and Pokemon Go for that. Also, it seems that the Pokemon Company does not want to become larger, but it wants to reinvest the revenue in order to promote the brand as is. Like, it's kind of crazy, because the Pokemon Company has already netted $47 billion from games and merch overall. Like, that's pretty crazy, like, overall the history of the franchise. But it is one of those weird things. I do feel there is a bit of a lack of confidence, maybe from the poor performing year that we've had from the Pokemon Company for the last year, and also maybe not expecting Pokemon Go. I think that this lack of confidence, because if anything, it might just me be saying this, and it might not be founded on anything, but it feels like, especially like in the US or outside of Japan, the Pokemon Company isn't as relevant as it should be. I think that that's because there's not a lot of promotion and advertising for, like, toys and merchandise. That Pokemon back in the late 90s was truly something else, and that was before we had all this digital media, before the internet was even a serious thing, and before social media, and it was, like, real life viral, which was something that almost never happened. Now, like, Pokemon's success back then is kind of average nowadays, but I think Pokemon still has a lot of room to grow and be this explosive force. Once again, we saw that with Pokemon Go, and I don't think it wasn't capitalized on. I don't think, like, Niantic failed and destroyed their game, but I think that there could have maybe been a little more preparation and readiness to kind of keep this going. That does show that keeping things simple has been the key to the franchise success. And also, they say that the next big goal is to maintain Pokemon as a part of the culture. Like, the Pokemon 20th anniversary has been a hit, in my opinion. So I would like to see, like, that just keep going as, like, a very strong force for making Pokemon relevant. Like, Pokemon Sun and Moon is seeming to be pretty solid. And I think that the interview is like a nice catch-up, you know, it looks at everything, and it's like, okay, Pokemon Go did really well, keeping that good is what we're looking for in X, so there is a lot of future plans for the Pokemon Company and stuff, and then we'll see how it all plays out. And before we go, I did want to come up with a few other things to talk about for the video, like the special features, since those do get overlooked. Because with Pokemon Refresh, you know, something that could easily be skipped over, or something that could be forgotten pretty effectively. But now we also, remember guys, we had that update with the global link. We'll be able to host our own competitions, like our friendly competitions locally and online competitions, and then we'll still be able to participate in live competitions. So the global link is going to be getting a nice overhaul for Pokemon Sun and Moon. Keep your eye on that for sure. And also just the Rotom Dex. We do have the new Rotom Dex feature of being able to play like a miniature version of Pokemon Snap. So it's going to be a pretty awesome thing to keep watching this like evolve and develop and stuff. Like Rotom, I love the personality of Rotom Dex, and we got to see that it has a really good interactive search and navigation system and stuff. And then it's actually going to start playing a bigger and bigger role. So keep an eye out as things start to get more complex. There's a lot of features that, oh, we forget about it, and then a new update happens with like new gameplay features and stuff, and it kind of calls back to the information we already knew about. So Pokemon Sun and Moon, looking to be absolutely massive and an absolutely fantastic game so far. Pokemon Refresh, going to be more useful in Pokemon Amie, and then the Pokemon Company, it's doing good, and hopefully does better than expected, and continues to do better than expected. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.